Welcome in, everybody. Meet me at the Coffee Pot Podcast. Week 17 NFL picks coming to you. Happy belated Christmas and, well, Merry Christmas, I guess, and Happy New Year. It is December 31st, and we're getting ready for the last week in the regular season of the NFL. Can you believe it's already here?
Can't believe it.
It goes by.
Soon.
It goes by quick.
I think because of all no sports for a long time, it feels like it went even faster.
Right.
And you haven't been able to watch that many.
Right. So special guest this week, not a regular on the show. This is Jami. Jami's going to be giving her picks and her NFL insights. She'll probably do better than anybody because that's kind of how these things work.
I don't think so.
We'll see. Yeah, I guess we'll just get into it.
Okay.
And I'll let you start.
Oh, okay.
Where are you going to start?
The top of the list.
So you're going to take my favorite. I do the Buffalo game every week, and you're going to take it?
Right. No,
go ahead. Go ahead.
Second.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. I am picking on Green Bay and Chicago. I'm picking Green Bay, -5.5.
-5.5.
-5.5.
We went over the terminology right before we hit record.
Sorry, everybody. This is my first time, which you will very shortly. Well, you already know that because I already screwed up. And do I say the score now too? So I think.
Well, tell us why you're taking Green Bay.
I think that
Green Bay on the road in Chicago. It's going to be a chilly day, but the least home field advantage you get in the cold is probably when you're playing Green Bay, so that shouldn't be too much of a factor.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, so I picked all these yesterday, and I had more insight then, but I kind of forgot a lot.
Should have written notes. I'll tell you, I am also taking Green Bay. Oh, tell your score?
Oh, Green Bay 40, Chicago 33. I think it's going to be
a high-scoring affair.
Yeah.
A high-scoring NFC North matchup. All right. I'm taking Green Bay too. Green Bay is playing for something. They're playing for the number one seed. The number one seed this year gets a bye and gets home field advantage throughout like normal. Chicago is playing for something too. Chicago is trying to get into the playoffs, and they have to win this game to get into the playoffs. But there's such a talent discrepancy there that I agree with you. Chicago started the season really hot, and they did really bad. They're trying to rally and kind of sneak into the playoffs back door last minute, but I don't think they're going to have enough to get it done. So I'm taking Green Bay 30, Chicago 18.
No.
Green Bay -5.5. All right, well, I guess we'll do the Bills game at the end. So I'm going to go to Baltimore at Cincinnati. Baltimore's a 12.5-point favorite in this game.
Yeah.
For a division game, that's a pretty big spread. Baltimore is playing for something too. So here's how it works. Tennessee, Baltimore, Miami. Who's the other one? Cleveland. Those four teams.
Mm-hmm.
If they win, they're in.
Oh, right.
And then the Colts, if the Colts win and any of those four teams I just mentioned lose, the Colts are in. So all five of those teams are playing for something.
Right. So, yeah. They're trying. They're going to be trying hard. Where some of them are not this week.
Right.
Because they have their destiny already.
Right. So that being said, so what I'm saying is Baltimore's playing for something. But for me, that's just a bit too high of a spread. Cincinnati's been playing really well the last couple of weeks. They put up some points last week, and I don't know, they're just kind of coming together. They're still not good. They're not as good as Baltimore. They don't have the talent as Baltimore. I think Baltimore's playing for something, and they're going to win this game. But I think it'll be maybe a 10-point game, not as close as it sounds type deal, but 12.5 is a bit much for me. So I'm taking Baltimore 30, Cincinnati 20, and so I'm going to take Cincinnati plus 12.5.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Cincinnati plus 12.5, but I still had Cincinnati losing, not quite as high as you. So Baltimore 32 and Cincinnati 27.
Let me tell you something interesting about this jersey I'm wearing.
Okay.
It's an Eric Moulds jersey. Eric Moulds just got his single season franchise record of the amount of yards per one season. Yards in a season, broken by Stephon Diggs on Monday. But I bought this jersey at the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio, which I always thought was cool. But look, it's messed up.
Oh.
They sewed it wrong.
So did you get it for cheaper?
No,
Oh.
didn't notice. Didn't notice till later.
Bad.
Yeah, it's kind of messed up right here. It's like not in the middle.
Eh.
I don't care.
Well, your beard covers it anyways now.
No, it doesn't.
Almost.
All right, you're next.
All right. Well, I don't have as much explanation beforehand, but for Pittsburgh and Cleveland, this is going to be in Cleveland, but I think it's Pittsburgh plus 10 is what I'm going for. So I think Pittsburgh will get 12 and Cleveland 20. Does that make sense?
Wait, say that again? Pittsburgh.
Because Cleveland is
okay, yeah.
minus 10.
Did you? Oh, you did write down your scores. Okay, I see.
So yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
So they will only lose by
So
eight.
you're taking Cleveland to win, Pittsburgh to cover.
Yes.
I like how the weather report I have pulled up here, it doesn't say like chance of showers. It says possible drizzle. It could drizzle.
Also, why is
What?
it looks weird to me that the temperature is the Fahrenheit is lowercase f.
Do you want it to be Celsius?
No, I want it to be
Do
an
you want it to
uppercase
be
F.
Kelvin?
I want it to be an uppercase
Jamie
F.
only understands Kelvin. All right. I agree with you pretty much. Like I said, Cleveland's one of those teams that's playing for something. Pittsburgh is not playing Ben Roethlisberger this week.
Right.
He is out. So
Yeah.
Mason Rudolph will be starting. I don't think he's enough to get it done. Pittsburgh, they rallied to beat the Colts at the end of last week, but they, recently haven't been super stellar. So I don't know that plus Mason Rudolph is enough to get it done. But I think it's a close division rivalry. Pittsburgh kind of owns Cleveland anyway. So I think it'll be close. One possession game, Pittsburgh 20, Cleveland 27, Pittsburgh plus 10.
Okay.
I'm up.
Yep.
All right, my favorite team of the week to pick every week. Minnesota at Detroit, at Ford Field in a dome. All right, here's the deal. You kind of mentioned it.
Yeah.
There's teams whose destinies are sealed, and there's teams who don't have anything to play for. Technically, neither of these teams have anything to play for. But Detroit feels like one of those teams. Their coach is fired.
Right.
They got destroyed last week. They lost by 40 points.
Yeah. I looked at those scores before I made a decision, and man,
You have to talk to the mic. No
that
one's
was
gonna hear you.
nuts. Okay.
I just think Detroit. I think 63% of players on Detroit are spending this week planning their offseason vacations. You know what I mean? It's just one of those deals. Minnesota's the better team, and they run away with this thing late. Minnesota 34, Detroit 17, and I'm taking Minnesota minus 6.5.
So I'm also taking Minnesota. I think Minnesota will get 27 and Detroit 20. So
Ooh, just cover.
yeah, just cover.
All right.
We'll see, but Detroit is at home, which helps.
That's true.
And
The fake fans.
possible
The
drizzle.
fake fans could.
Possible drizzle.
No, it's indoors.
Oh. dang.
Possible drizzle with Cleveland.
Okay.
No drizzle.
No drizzle. So
Unless they
fair game
pipe
for
unless they
everybody.
pipe in artificial drizzle.
All right. Well, let's hope.
Yeah, let's hope. That'd make it interesting. All right.
All right. We have Jacksonville at Indianapolis next. The spread is Indianapolis minus 14, and I'm taking Jacksonville plus 14. So I think Jacksonville will still lose by a hefty amount, but
Hefty.
yeah.
We're about to find out what Jamie thinks hefty is.
But not quite 14. That seems a little ridiculous. I don't have that much faith in the Colts. So
Gene's gonna comment.
I know.
Gene's gonna comment.
I kind of said it just for him.
Gene is typing his comment right now.
So I think Jacksonville 17 and Indianapolis 27.
A hefty amount.
Yeah, 10.
10 is hefty.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
What's 9? A lot?
No, 9's like just.
What would 15 be if they actually covered?
Okay, that would be like
destruction.
Big time.
A lot, hefty, big time.
Yep.
I think you're wrong.
Okay.
I think the Colts are at home. They mean business. Jacksonville had one. I mean, they didn't have one goal coming into the season, but they had one goal coming into last week. And that was to get Trevor Lawrence, wrap up the number 1 pick. They've only won one game all year. They actually beat their one win is against the Colts in week 1, but Jacksonville has given up, and the Colts have to win this game to get into the playoffs. I think they're going to be focused.
I have them winning.
Well, fair enough.
Yeah.
You're
I
right.
don't think that they're
a
not
hefty
gonna
amount. Okay. I think they're going to destroy the Jaguars. And I think Frank Reich's going to coach them up, get them focused. Very business trip mentality.
Okay.
And I'm taking Indianapolis 38, Jacksonville 17. Colts in a blowout.
Wow. Well, we have Jacksonville scoring the same.
There you go.
There you go. Maybe we'll be right.
Am I up?
Yep.
Okay. This one was really hard for me to pick, even though in any other week of the season it wouldn't be. So, LA Chargers 20, Kansas City 24, and now I'm going to break down the game a little bit more. The Chargers are actually favored by 3.5 in this game, which sounds weird, right? So obviously Kansas City must be planning on, they at least Vegas, whoever setting these lines, must think that Kansas City is going to rest their players. I just don't think it's going to be enough. Anthony Lynn is going to get fired. The Chargers aren't playing for anything. The Chargers find ways to mess up games. And I think that a couple series out of the starters in Kansas City and then their backups is actually going to be enough to win this game outright. So I'm taking Kansas City, like I said, Kansas City 24, Chargers 20, and I am taking the upset, which is it sounds weird to say because they're the best team in football. I'm taking the Kansas City Chiefs in an upset.
All right. Well, I am also taking Kansas City. I think they will also win by 4 points, which I think is what you have.
Yep.
If I wasn't mistaken. So I think the Chargers will get 17 and Kansas City 21. So I agree with you. Yeah, I think Kansas City. And another thing, it's going to be not that cold, I guess. I was going to say a little bit cold for the Chargers, but I guess 32, not that cold.
Not too bad.
Yeah. All right.
I don't think there's some, light rain in Philadelphia, possible drizzle in Cleveland, but the coldest temperature this weekend is going to be 32. So I really
31.
They could snow for the Bills game, which
Cool.
is interesting, but it's actually not even going to be that cold. I saw like 34, 35 degrees. So I don't think weather will be a huge factor this week.
Yeah. Now that I'm looking at it, you're right. I was thinking, ooh, it's going to be cold, but not so much. Okay. So Dallas and New York Giants or at New York Giants. Is that right?
Yeah, you skipped one, but we'll come back. Go ahead.
Okay. Oh, no, I'll do that one.
Okay.
Okay. New York Jets in New England. So on this one, New England's going to have that home field advantage, which I looked, and I think they've only lost one game at home so far.
Is that right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
They're pretty terrible.
I know they're not great, but I think being home matters.
You know who they didn't beat at home?
Who?
The Buffalo Bills.
Oh, I'm wrong.
The Bills destroyed them.
You're right.
Yeah.
No, but I'm wrong. They only won 4-3. Okay, never mind. Well, a little over 50%. So I guess I'm taking them. Anyway, no, I am taking them. I think -3. So New England -3, and I have their score them getting 18 and New York Jets 14. So just over that 3.
Is that your weird score of the week?
I wouldn't say so.
No.
I don't know.
Reels likes to have a weird score.
Okay.
Where he'll be like 19 to 25.
It's not that weird, is it?
No, it's not that weird. Okay. The Patriots are a disaster. I think Jared Stidham, I haven't looked. I probably should have, because that's kind of the point of this.
Really quick. Sorry. The reason why I chose 18 is because I thought that they could just get a whole bunch of field goals.
You think it's going to be 6 field goals?
Okay, maybe not that many, but I just thought okay, that could work. Because,
6 field goals.
Cam Newton is, right? That's their
quarterback.
And he sucks. And
He does
he's
suck.
Not throwing.
I was in the middle of saying, I think
Okay.
he sucks so bad, I think they might play Jared Stidham, his backup, who also sucked.
Well, either way, they're not throwing very much.
They can't throw the ball.
Right.
They can't throw the ball. Yeah. I mean, they have to try to run the ball. The Jets have been playing better. New England, they're just kind of, dude, against the Bills, this is a big criticism. They looked like they gave up. Dude, they looked like they didn't want to be there. I mean, they got, they just got destroyed. They didn't want to be, they didn't even want to be there. They didn't want any part of that game. And I don't know, the Jets have been playing well lately. I think there's a lot of people I think New England's kind of on the downswing and kind of in shambles. They're going to have to figure themselves out, where the Jets are in shambles, but there's a lot of guys who have to prove themselves, and they're kind of trying to swing their way up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't make sense. This is a garbage game. I don't know why we're breaking it down for 5 minutes. I'm taking New York Jets 23, New England 20, and I'm taking Jets as an outright winner because I don't know if you mentioned New England is a 3-point favorite.
Yeah, I don't think I mentioned it.
No one could hear that. You're not talking to me.
I don't think I mentioned it.
It's okay.
You have the mic.
I know. I didn't scooch it over. Okay. All right. Dallas at the Giants. This is crazy, right? Let's go to the NFC East. Okay. Washington and Dallas are tied at 6-9.
Right. Yeah.
With one game left. One of those teams is going to the playoffs.
Well,
in theory, a 6-10 team could go to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Which would be a record. But I think Dallas is going to win this game. I'm going to be honest. I didn't even look to see who's playing quarterback for the Giants. Daniel Jones has been hurt. He's also kind of not that good, but he's been hurt. Colt McCoy is their backup. He's a backup. They haven't been playing very good. Dallas has been playing great. Andy Dalton has got the offense firing up. Those receivers, they have like a really good receiving core. They're actually taking over. They're winning games, and I think this has got the Cowboys written all over it. And I think the Cowboys are actually going to make the playoffs, which is crazy.
I think they are too.
Because they just started so badly, like historically bad defense, bad. Lost their quarterback the first week of the season, second week this season. But so I'm taking Dallas 28, Giants 17, Dallas -2.
All right, I'm taking Dallas 37, Giants 28. So is that big time? No, not quite. It's 9. No, it's just a lot. Dallas -2. So I agree.
Okay.
All right. The next one is Washington at Philadelphia. So the spread is Washington -1.5, but I just think being at home, Philadelphia is just going to be able to pull those 2 points. So I chose Philadelphia 16 and Washington 14, and Philadelphia +1.5.
You're big on the home field advantage.
Yeah, I think it matters.
There's no fans.
Yeah, but there's fan noises.
Yes, I guess. I've always kind of thought more than the noise, though. The home field advantage is like you slept in your bed last night, and you know the routine.
Travel.
You're not sitting on an airplane. Yeah.
No, I think it's more that too.
I don't think it's going to be enough.
What?
I don't think it's going to be enough for the Eagles. So Jalen Hurts, rookie quarterback, he's been playing well. But he's going against a good Washington defense. And like I said, Washington, it's going to be Washington or Dallas who's going to the playoffs after a pretty terrible year by all standards. They're going to finish with a losing record. So everything is on the line. And you know what I just realized? I think that Washington has a tiebreaker with Dallas. And I said I think Dallas is going to go to the playoffs. But now that I'm looking at my picks, because I'm taking Washington 23, Philadelphia 16, Washington by 7. I think Washington will have the tiebreaker, but man, it's going to come down to the wire. It's funny. It's going to be one of the NFC East is one of the group of games that everyone's going to be paying attention to see which one of those teams actually makes playoffs, even though theoretically they're both terrible. But it's kind of
I was going to say, which is the best crappy team?
Yeah, and you know what? Bad teams, historically, 8-8, 7-9 teams who make the playoffs have done well. They've won their first game.
Really?
Yeah. A couple of years ago, the one that just, in my mind, Seattle was 8-8. Yeah, Seattle Seahawks were 8-8. They hosted in the wild card the New Orleans Saints, and Seattle beat them. So,
go Cowboys.
Once you get into the playoffs, anything's possible.
Yeah.
But I'm taking Washington. -1.5.
So who do you think? So you think that they're going to be tied?
I said earlier I think Dallas is going to make the playoffs, but now I just remembered that I believe Washington has a tiebreak between them. So if they both finish 7-9 or they both finish 6-10, I think Washington gets to go.
Oh.
Yeah.
How do they decide that?
It's first of all it's head to head. So who won the matchups between them?
Oh.
And then there's a list of tiebreakers. And I don't know exactly the order, but it's common opponents. So if you both played this, who won and lost, it's a conference record, and it goes all the way down to a coin flip. Like there's all these tiebreakers that if you're even on all of them, it literally goes to a coin flip.
Man.
Don't think it's ever happened.
Yeah. I would be mad if it was my team and it went down to that.
It's almost like at that point, it's like, what else are you gonna?
Yeah,
it's not like who cares. It's like, what else are you gonna do? You tried 7 times to break it. Like,
Okay.
Right. Am I up? Atlanta at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is a 6.5-point favorite in this game, and I think they cover. Tampa Bay's rolling right now. I think they want to be firing all cylinders going into the playoffs, and they're scoring a ton of points, and Atlanta's not going to get in their way to stop them from doing that. I think they're going to score 40 points. Tampa Bay 40, Atlanta 26.
All right. I think Atlanta 20 and Tampa Bay 30. So you had 40 for Tampa Bay?
Yeah. Wow. Tom Brady's got it going.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have it so high, but still 10-point difference. That's hefty.
It's in the hefty category. You're like what you see out of Tom Brady this year?
I mean, sure. I don't really like him. I don't even know if I've seen him play this year.
He's there.
But I think he can, definitely get 6.5 points.
All right.
Yep. All right. So New Orleans at Carolina. New Orleans is the favorite, 7-point favorite, but home field advantage. No, I mean, sort of. I just don't think, that they'll be able to have over 7 points. I think that New Orleans is still going to win. I have them at 32 and Carolina at 28. I just don't see it being that much of a win.
So I have New Orleans at 30, but New Orleans has a pretty good defense. And if you've watched this show, I usually ride with Teddy Bridgewater, but I'm not this week. I think New Orleans will cover -7. New Orleans 30, Carolina 22. Again, I think this week is characterized by teams who have something to play for and teams who don't. And this is another game where New Orleans has something to play for and Carolina doesn't. And I think at the end of the day, that matters, when you get in these week 17 matchups. And I think divisional game. I don't think Carolina is that bad of a team. I think they might be a little bit better than their record. But I think New Orleans gets it done. New Orleans -7. Which brings us to Tennessee at Houston. Tennessee is -7.5. And I mentioned earlier, Tennessee is one of these 5 teams in the AFC who needs to win to Tennessee controls their own destiny. They win the AFC South. And so they're playing for something, and Houston is not, just like the last matchup. I don't think the talent gap between these two teams is big enough to really make it a blowout, but I think Tennessee kind of handles the game pretty easily, and I'm taking Tennessee 28, Houston 20.
So I disagree. I also think Tennessee's going to win, but I just don't think it's going to be a blowout. Like you said, the talents are.
I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I have it by 8.
Well, okay, not a blowout. But
1 possession. That's a 1-possession game.
Okay. Well, I have Tennessee 24, Houston 18. So I have Houston plus 7.5.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, Las Vegas at Denver. What can I see the weather?
Bring up the weather for you. Let's see
Where
here.
is it?
It's this one here.
Okay. Oh, okay. Good weather.
Oh, it's perfect.
48.
Weather.
Yeah, I'd like to play in that.
48, sunny, and 3-mile-an-hour wind.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
Well, maybe overcast would be nice.
Because of the glare.
Yeah,
sun.
the glare and just like you're sweaty and hot. So you don't want the sun
It's
as much.
48. I don't think it'll be that hot.
Yeah. Okay. You're right.
I mean, you'll be sweating, but you won't be
Okay.
hot.
That's true. In Las Vegas, people really won't be hot.
It is January in Denver. You don't have to worry about being hot that much.
Yeah, true. All right. So Las Vegas is 2.5-point favorites, and I am taking them. I think that they are going to cover with 24 points and Denver 19.
I agree with you. They cover. I agree with you. They score 24 points, and I have Denver only at 10. Both these teams are eliminated from the playoffs, so they don't have anything to play for, but I think Las Vegas is the better team, so that's why I'm going there. I think on a side note, Vic Fangio in Denver might be coaching for his job, but I don't think he's going to have enough. And I'm taking Las Vegas -2.5. Okay. I'm going to skip ahead because then I'll let you down. I'll let you break down the game of the week. I'm going to skip ahead. Seattle at San Francisco. Seattle is a 5.5-point favorite. Man, San Francisco is a well-coached team, and they play really hard, and they stay in games, and they beat the Cardinals last week, and they're not a bad team. They have a ton of injuries. They have, all year they've had a lot of guys out, and a lot of times when teams make the Super Bowl, especially teams who may lose the Super Bowl, they don't make the playoffs next year, and they kind of really struggle. San Francisco lost the Super Bowl last year, and they're not going to make the playoffs, but it feels different. It doesn't feel like they kind of don't have their way, and they're going to have to, kind of regroup and try again. It feels like they're not that far away. They just need to be healthy, and they're not. And Seattle is a better team, and Seattle still has a shot at the number 1 seed. So Seattle has something to play for. So I think it'll be a relatively close game, but Seattle's defense is playing better. And I'm taking Seattle 27, San Francisco 17, Seattle -5.5.
I also think Seattle will win, but I think it'll be closer than what you think. So I'm taking San Francisco plus 5.5, but I have Seattle at 20 and San Francisco at 17.
What do you think about San Francisco defensive coordinator Robert Saleh?
Who? Never heard of him.
He's a hot head coaching candidate.
For whom?
For anybody, but a lot of people think he's going to the Lions.
I was going to say Detroit.
Were you?
Yeah, I really was.
Why?
Because we just talked about how they don't have a coach.
Oh, well, yeah, and he's a Michigan guy.
Oh.
So we'll see. Everyone's for sure. You actually recognize him. Here, I'll pull him up.
Okay.
I bet you'll actually recognize him.
How did you say his last name?
Robert Saleh.
Oh, I thought it was Sayla.
It might be okay. You know,
No, it doesn't. I don't know.
you don't. Do you recognize him?
Yeah, I recognize him a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that kind of wild? You recognize an assistant coach on the 49ers.
They must talk about him like, oh, he might be a.
Oh, they should. He's like
Like, all the
super.
time.
He's obviously like jacked, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they constantly show him on the sidelines being all fired up
Yeah, that's
and like
probably
running
why.
around and being pumped. And so yeah, he for an assistant coach, he kind of gets a lot of screen time.
Well, I was gonna say, you know how the announcers are always like, oh, I wonder where he's going next year.
Yeah. Like I don't like Bill's defensive coordinator Leslie Frazier. I don't think he's been on camera this year. I don't think they've shown him yet. And he's been a head coach before. They're just like they're not showing Leslie Frazier.
Oh, too bad.
I mean, he's fine. I don't think he's worried about it.
Well, that's good.
I don't know.
He doesn't need to be on camera.
No.
He's good without the camera.
He lets his work speak for itself. I've always
All
said
right,
that
so
about Leslie Frazier.
What are you pressuring me to do?
I want you to talk about Arizona and the Rams, the game of the week. Reyes has been waiting. Reyes has been fast forwarding the episode to get to this moment.
I don't believe it, first of all. Second of all, I thought about Rios a lot when I was thinking about this game because I really wanted the Rams to win for him.
So you picked with your heart, not your head.
Maybe. So Arizona is a favorite. -3. And I picked the Rams +3.
There you go.
And I have them winning with 20 and Arizona with 16.
A defensive struggle.
Yeah. Not very high scoring, but well, I guess
Rams
mid.
have a good defense. I would say that's a pretty low scoring game.
Yeah. Well, anyways, I hope they win, Rios.
I hope they win too, and I think they will. I've been trashing the Cardinals, Cliff Kingsbury, and Kyler Murray all year on this here digital radio program. Right? It's not. It's a YouTube show.
Yeah, but whatever.
I got that from Steve Ranella. The Rams are the better team, man. Like the Rams have kind of struggled. Jared Goff isn't good. But guess who's not playing this week? Jared Goff. So I say the Rams play a high Jared Goff offense, right? They try not to put the game in his hands. They try to purposely make it so the game's not in his hands and he's more of a game manager, and that can work for you. The Rams they're missing Cam Akers, their rookie running back, who's had a really good year, and they're missing Jared Goff. And I still think they're going to win. They have a dominant defense, and Arizona's not for real. Arizona's a pretender. Arizona's not a contender. They beat the Bills. They beat them on a Hail Mary. So give them credit there. But they're an average team. They're not a bad team. And I feel like I told Gene this week. I feel like I'm a crazy person for saying that the Cardinals are average with an average quarterback. But by all statistical measure, the Cardinals are an average team led by an average quarterback. And the Rams are an above average team, and the Rams are a playoff team, and the Rams are going to win this game. It'll be close because of, like I said, the Rams are missing some big components on offense, and that's, it's going to be a little disjointed. They got a guy named John Wolford out of Wake Forest who's going to be their starting quarterback, and it's his first game ever starting. So it's kind of asking a lot, but I still think they get it done, man. I think they hold Kyler Murray in check. I think they're going to have like 6 sacks. And I'm taking the Rams 27, Arizona 22. I'm taking the Rams to win. The Rams to win outright as a 3-point underdog. The Rams to get in the playoffs. I see it. I see it all happening.
Okay. Here it is.
Last game of the week. Miami at Buffalo. I mentioned earlier, our forecast here says 31 and snow. I saw like 34, 35, 36 in snow. I think it might be one of those games where it's like snowing, but it's not accumulating. It doesn't really affect the game that much. That's kind of what it looked like when I looked up the forecast earlier. The cold might help. I don't know. I don't know how much weather. I don't know. Weather can matter, but I don't know how much straight up temperature matters. for professional teams.
Unless it's like
Yeah, it's not
2,
0.
yeah.
It's 31. Like
Right.
so I don't think that's going to be a big deal. But we don't know right now if the Bills are playing their starters or how long they're playing their starters. Sean McDermott specifically hasn't come out and said. But I think they're going to play their starters for at least 3 quarters, which last week was all they needed to do because they had the game in control. But the Bills are playing for the 2 seed. If the Bills win, they are guaranteed the 2 seed, which means 2 things. They're guaranteed 2 home playoff games if they win their first home playoff game. And they're guaranteed not to face the Kansas City Chiefs, the best team in football, until the AFC Championship. So if something happens where, somebody else can take out the Chiefs before the Bills potentially see them, it's all good things.
Right.
So I think the Bills are really going to try to win this game.
Yeah.
Miami is also really going to try to win this game because Miami has to win this game to get into the playoffs. Ryan Fitzmagic, tested positive for COVID today.
Oh gosh.
He is out. So, Brian Flores, the Miami coach, announced after last week's win in Oakland that Tua Tagovailoa will be starting next week. But a couple times this year, Tua has started the game and then been pulled for the veteran Ryan Fitzpatrick to come in and win the game for them, and he has. But they don't have that this week. Tua is the man. And he's a rookie quarterback. He hasn't blown the doors off. He's been serviceable, but I mean, his own head coach has benched him multiple times for performance. So I think the Bills win this game, even though Miami needs it. I think the Bills win this game. I think Miami's coming up. I think they're a good coach staff, and I think they're going to be a huge challenge in the division next year for the Bills. But the Bills have the talent right now, and I think the only way the Bills lose this game is if they decide they don't care and they pull their starters. And I don't think they'll decide they don't care. I think they will care, and I think they will win by 10. Buffalo 31, Miami 21. Buffalo is -1.5.
So even when they had Ryan Fitzpatrick, I thought Buffalo would win as well. So I also have Buffalo -1.5. They're at home, and I think it matters. I mean, it's dumb. Maybe they're in the same time zone, but
That's a good point.
But it's still, like we said, it's farther away. They have to get all the way up to Buffalo. Miami does. So I have them winning, but a pretty close game. So 24 Miami and 28 Buffalo.
I think that's a good call. The Bills won by 3 earlier this year. I mean, these two teams are clearly the best 2 teams in the division, and they'll probably play each other close. I just think if Buffalo decides to win the game, they can.
Yeah, and clearly I do too.
Yeah.
Just maybe not by as much. I think it might be a nail biter.
Yeah, this is going to be the first time since the modern playoff format where the 2 seed doesn't get a bye. The Bills are going to get, if they win, the Bills will get the 2 seed. So it's kind of like maybe you do want to rest your guys because you got to play next week.
Right, you have to do it anyways. It doesn't matter where you line up. You're going to have a game.
Right. But I still think the 2 seed is the 2 seed is valuable over rest.
Well, because of the Chiefs.
The Bills are pretty healthy right now too.
Yeah.
Cole Beasley hurt his knee at the end of the last game, but I think even if he doesn't play this week, I think they'll have him rest up for the playoffs and he'll be back. But all right. You want to go first? You want to go first on your lock?
Oh, lock.
Lock of the week.
Yeah. I think Will thinks I'm crazy for choosing this. But my lock of the week is Carolina +7. Am I supposed to say anything else?
What was your score again?
My score was New Orleans 32, Carolina 28.
So you have them losing, but you have them covering.
Exactly.
I don't think you're crazy because I don't think anyone who rides with Teddy Bridgewater is crazy, because I think riding with Teddy Bridgewater is the only gambling strategy I have on this show, except I didn't take him this week. I'm taking my lock of the week as Dallas -2. If you told me like 7 weeks ago I would ever take Dallas as a favorite as a lock of the week, I would not have believed you. But they have it rolling, and Andy Dalton's going to lead this team to victory over the Giants. They're going to put up some points. Dallas 28, New York 17. Lock of the week.
I remember at the beginning of the season, we were watching Dallas, and you're just like, oh my gosh, the Cowboys, they suck so badly.
Their defense was brutal.
Yeah.
I mean, unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, we both picked them.
I'm kind of sad. It's the last week already.
Yeah. Sorry, it has to be a new person for the last week, but
It's okay. You snuck in.
yeah.
You pinched hit in the 9th inning.
I did.
Any final thoughts on the NFL season or on this week?
So. Go Bills.
Go Bills. Who do you want to see? Who do you want the Bills to face in the first game of the playoffs?
So
here's your options. Dolphins, Ravens, Browns, Titans, Colts.
I would say
Dolphins, Ravens, Browns, Titans, Colts.
Browns. I think that they're the maybe least consistent, and I just think Baker Mayfield isn't that great. He's okay. He's fine. But he's not Josh Allen. And I don't know. I think that would be a good matchup to watch. And I think the Bills will definitely win if that's the matchup.
I agree. I like to see them face the Browns too. Of all those teams I just mentioned, the Browns are the only team, even close to the only team, who have actually given up more points than they've scored. So they've won a lot of close games. I mean, like, the Ravens have scored 130 more points than their opponents, and they have the same record as the Browns. You know what I mean? It's one of those deals. You know, you can't read too much into that, but I feel like the Browns are the weakest opponent of those five, and I'd like to see them play them too. I think the Colts are dangerous because the Colts have a good defense, and when January rolls around and the playoffs are happening, a good defense matters. So I would like to avoid the Colts. And then the Ravens with Lamar Jackson, he's kind of streaky, but he's like such an incredible playmaker that he can beat you by himself. He can lose a game by himself, but he can also beat you by himself.
Yeah.
And then the Dolphins, I think the Bills will win tomorrow or on Sunday. It's hard to beat a team in your own division 3 times in a row. You know what I mean? That's just tough to do. So I wouldn't want to tempt that either. So I agree with you. I think you're right. Browns. That's the way to go. So I'm cheering for everything to shake out the way it does, for the Browns to play the Bills to get the 2 seed and start the playoffs.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, we'll see you in January.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, everybody. Happy New Year. We'll see you in January. And until next time.
Thanks for hanging with me. And I don't know.
All right. Bye.
Bye.